Hello to my friends out in the YouTube astrology world. I've been gone for quite a while now. Been busy with readings and moving and craziness of life. But I wanted to make an announcement for you guys to let you know that I'm going to be raising my prices in November. So I've got a little, it's like your little last window and your last chance to get signed up for a reading at my current prices. And I've had a lot of people asking about, I'll have people message that are, whether they're sort of new with astrology or they're interested in, they've heard of astrological readings. They thought, oh, I wonder what that is. I want to have that. I want to try that out. So I thought I'd maybe just give a little brief intro into what it is that I do. And even for those of you who study astrology, this may be of interest. So basically, first of all, my approach to astrology, I am a Western astrologer, meaning I use the tropical zodiac. And my techniques, I use sort of a blend, kind of a hybrid. I use a little bit of evolutionary astrology. I use a little bit of psychological or archetypal astrology, and then I use, sort of classical Western astrological techniques. That, along with the fact that my educational background is, I have an art history degree. My emphasis was in iconography, which is the study of symbols, religious symbols. So I've always been drawn to both the artistry, the symbolic side of astrology, as well as the technical side. I love astronomy as well. So I like where these two come together. And on top of it, I also am someone who has a keen intuition. So the use of both, I suppose, the left and right side of the brains is the gift that I can give to you through reading your chart. And basically what a chart reading is we are simply looking at our cosmic clock. It's this big clock. We're all born on a particular day. We're going to grow up, and then we're going to get old, and then we're going to die. Everything in life that comes into existence has a beginning and has an end. And all that astrology is, when you look at the zodiac, or the wheel, the horoscope, it's showing you that progression from Aries, which is the emergence and the birth of something, all the way around to Pisces, which is the death of something. And our cosmic clock, which is our solar system, is a complex, it's like if you opened up an old-fashioned clock, all the gears that are moving in there, right? They're all moving at different speeds, and they're all holding space for different sections, I suppose, or lengths of time. And it's the same thing with astrology. So, for example, when someone turns around 29 years old, they're going to have the planet Saturn that was in the heavens the moment they were born is going to return to its exact same location relative to the sun, right? And that's known as your Saturn return. Most people, when they turn about 29, tend to have a bit of a growing up experience. It's kind of like they realize they can't do it all, but life is short. They're about to turn 30. They've got to make some decisions in their life. Do I want to get married? Do I not? What do I want to do for career? And so you can sort of assume it's not going to be exactly the same for everyone, but there's a good chance that the experiences most people have will be similar. So astrology is using these cycles of the planets. They're years, and they're basically, and we're just sort of overlaying and overlapping all of these different cycles of time, along with understanding human psychology, symbolism, etc. So the planets, they signify for us. They signify. They don't. They're not causal. It's not a causal relationship, as far as I know. It is one of correlation. So the ancient astrologers would observe the heavens, and they started to recognize that these wandering stars, they returned, that they were moving through the heavens, and they started connecting events that we're having on Earth with those stars' positions in the heavens. So I was just reading a clock. Okay. Now, that being said, I want to tell you a little bit about the types of readings that I do, and also before I don't know if I mentioned this yet, I currently have 2 or 3 spots left in September for readings, and then I have, I think, 20, 25 or so left that are available and open for the price that everything currently is at. That includes both birth charts, relationship, forecast readings. So, do you know what I'm saying? So, and as soon as this is released on YouTube, they'll go really quickly. So it is a good thing to jump into it. And if you want one, I would sign up ASAP. Okay, so let's talk about the readings, the types of readings that I do. First of all, birth chart readings. These are this would be your intro into astrology, into a reading. I do a birth chart reading for you first. If you want a relationship reading, I need to have done a birth chart reading for at least one of the 2 people, because there's just not enough time in a relationship reading to do 2 chart readings and the full relationship reading. So with your relationship reading, we're going to look at the psychological side of your chart, and we're going to look at more of the spiritual or soul-based side of the chart. I do believe that we come into existence and that we are more than this single individual ego, this single life that we live. I believe in reincarnation and the evolution of the soul through, time. And I think consciousness is non-local, perhaps, that kind of thing. So when we're looking at your chart, my approach is to look at both sides. And the thing that I found, this past year I've read for over 1,000 clients, and the thing that I found is as soon as if you just look at the psychological side of the chart, you get a certain layer of information. As soon as you look at the evolutionary or the past life side of the chart, it goes way deeper, and it's like blows the chart up out of the water. So my approach, even if you've never thought about past lives but you're curious, just let me take it and run with it for you, okay? So with the birth chart, we're going to go into all the basics that you would think you would get from an astrological reading. We'll talk about your sort of a little bit about your family dynamics that you came from, your sort of life path, life purpose, why you're here, where you're going, what you're good at. My approach to astrology, I have a Sun Moon opposition square Jupiter, so I really love, very enthusiastic, and really enjoy helping people find out what it is that they're good at, and celebrating that in their chart, and also at the same time helping them really look at the things that they struggle with, their roadblocks and their challenges. And I like to help you come up with some tools that will perhaps set you on a course that's going to help you sort of level up in your growth, in your personal growth, and your personal development. So I actually just this past week had 7 different past clients message me telling me about their they were like all millennials too, which was great, but they had quit their jobs and went off and started their own businesses, or had a couple that went back to school, and they're so like overflowing with excitement. And many times we know what it is that we love and what it is that we want to do with our life, but it might take another person to validate that. And what's cool about astrology is I have no idea. Most of my clients, they don't tell me any of these dreams that they have. It's in the chart though. So when they hear it validated through a stranger, it's really empowering. Okay. So there's that side. That's a birth chart reading. And with your birth chart reading, you can order a forecast as well, or you can just do the birth chart. I would recommend doing both because it's cheaper, and you're going to, after getting your birth chart reading, you're probably going to want a forecast. That's most of my clients come back for a forecast after, and it's cheaper. But with a forecast, if you're a current existing client, you've already had your birth chart read, you can just order the forecast by itself, okay? And what we're going to look at as far as the techniques for those of you who care, we will look at like your solar return chart first of all, which kind of sets the stage for the year, all right? Then we're going to pull up and take a look at your natal chart relative to your progressed chart, your solar arcs, and of course then the transits, the current transiting planets. It's really cool. I feel as though the stage is the solar return, and then the progressions, especially the progressed moon in particular, is also a little bit of the stage. The transits are the actors that are kind of moving around on the stage, and that's the thing that I really enjoy helping people with, is understanding first sort of what's the theme for this year, and then Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, helping them figure out when things are going to kind of unfold for them. So, and that's something that is probably one of the more complex uses of astrology, but probably one of the most helpful tools. So, okay, after, other than forecasts, we can do a relationship reading. With a relationship reading, my approach to relationship readings is you've got 2 individual people. We are all here, I believe, as souls to experience duality, to experience mortality, right? The process of being born and then dying and everything that happens in between. So the way that I approach a relationship reading is not like from this sort of gaga, romantic, naive, place. While I think that's great, my approach is a bit more, why are these 2 people together? And what is it about this person that this person feels maybe even unconsciously drawn towards? And what is it between these 2 people? What are we going to trigger in each other so that we can grow? That's what relationship is about. It's not about like the flowers and the chocolate and all that. That stuff's fun. But really the deeper purpose in our relationships with anyone, whether it's romantic or, a coworker, it's about the self. It always comes back to the self, and about opening the self up more and more and more to who you really are, which I believe is love. So that's the purpose of relationships. So my goal is to help you figure out, sometimes you're in a partnership with someone and you want to stick it out and you want to make it work. And the partnership's just not really good for you. That partner maybe isn't in the same place you're in, and you're hurting yourself, or you're not, allowing yourself maybe to move to the next place you need to move to if you're kind of stuck in this relationship. On the other hand, I've read for some people who have charts that are, these amazing relationship charts where these two people have come together to do some type of big work together. And so whatever it might be for your relationship, it's my pleasure to sort of peel back the onion and peel back the layers and help you figure out what the purpose of coming together is. We will look at, if you're interested in past lives, that's my default setting. I look at past life, evolutionary astrological framework. I do move from that with all of my readings. Well, not forecasts, but so much, but with, birth chart and relationship readings. So if you want me to look and see if you've had past life connections, when you look at the charts, I look at the individual charts and the composite and the synastry, you'll see patterns all throughout the charts that just like bring, 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 bring. It just all, things just match up kind of perfectly. So I'm happy to do past life exploration for you, even into, this is where there is a lot of imagery and stuff that comes through when I'm doing that kind of reading. So, which is a lot of fun. If you don't want me to look at past lives in any of your readings, that's fine, let me know. And then the last thing, as far as pricing. So, well, before I talk about pricing, the way that I deliver my readings is through YouTube. So I deliver you an unlisted, so no one can like search for it, but an unlisted link. It's to your playlist. You can share it with whomever you'd like. If you don't want anyone to have it, then don't share it. But I will then upload the videos for you. And I do the videos, the readings, in several sections, depending on the type of reading you ordered. And that way you can kind of watch parts of it in little bite sizes and you can digest it a little bit. And then you can text me. So I've been playing around with different forms of communication, and text is the best for me. I have Mercury in the first house. I just like to answer it, take care of it right then. So you can text me. So I've had some really fun dialogues and back and forth with clients ever since I've been giving my number out. Maybe it's foolish, but that's okay. And so if you're interested in getting a reading, the current pricing for a birth chart reading by itself is $139. If you get it with a forecast, it's $199. So birth chart reading is usually about an hour. With the forecast, it ends up being about an hour and 20 minutes or so, maybe an hour and a half. I'm not like a stickler for time. Usually I go over on my time rather than under, so it's not usually an issue. For the relationship readings, those are $199. So that's the relationship reading itself, and then I do a little mini forecast with it. And then if you're going to order just a forecast, if you've had a birth chart reading already, that's $139 as well. And with the forecasting, whatever it is that's going on in your life right now, I have some clients that are like, well, they're like dealer's choice, just tell me whatever you see in there. And then I have other clients that are really, I'm really worried because I think I'm gonna have to move this year, and they have very specific situations. So the more specific you can get, the better typically. And I'm happy to help you figure out, like, ooh, you should probably wait like 2 months before you do that. Or have people that have really serious big questions, that are big things that are happening in their life, and it's my pleasure to help you with reading the clock. All we're doing, reading the clock. Like, if you do that right now, you might regret it in 3 months, or that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I gave you the pricing on that. So if you're interested, I'm going to put a little link down below, and you can just head over to the website and see the schedule and get on it. Okay, hope you have a great weekend, and hope you enjoy the solar eclipse on Monday. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.